Right now, the way that it stands with our law enforcement here in Santan Valley, we actually have 15 officers. Out of those 15 officers, the area that they cover is pretty vast. So they have all of Santan Valley. They go and they extend into the Gold Canyon area, and then they go all the way up to top of the world, which is where the county line is between Healy County and Pinal. And then they take in parts of Kearney and some of those other areas but that's the 15 officers that are allocated to Santan Valley from our sheriff's department. So there's well over 130,000 that they're responsible for, those 15 officers. So we were just talking to our sheriff's department. We're trying to figure out how we can beef up our enforcement here locally because of all the traffic issues and things that we have. So we're trying to come up with a game plan that we can do that. With the municipality, they will assume the responsibility of all the law enforcement. So they're going to have to come up with a game plan that they get an adequate law enforcement agency to meet the needs of the community. In addition to that, they've got to meet the needs of all the roads, maintenance and things. And so those are the two main things that they're going to be responsible for coming out of the gate. Now, at some point, if they decide they want additional services that they want to offer to the community, they'll have to come up with a way that how they're going to pay for it. And that will all have to go to the voters. That particular part will have to go to the voters. The plan, number one, will have to be thought it through and then put to the voters, yeah, we like this plan or we don't like it. And then they go from there. Well, the law enforcement, the thing to be most clear about when it comes to all of this is, number one, the county will have once if it does become incorporated, the only involvement that the county will have initially is in the appointment of the individuals that will be serving on as council members. And then the restrictions, it's very clear, they can only be in those positions for a certain amount of time, and then an election has to take place. And then they have to stagger those elections based on whether they're mayor or whatever. And then they have to stagger half of them one time and then the other larger portion another time. And so that's one of the first things that will happen as far as the county is concerned. Then it will be the responsibility of the council to actually come up with a game plan. It will be the responsibility of the services. How are we going to provide these services? Well, between you and I, we as a county, I mean, this effort's been tried several different times since 2010. And we've always had some open conversations between us as a county to do something very similar to what the town of Queen Creek did when they became incorporated. They contracted with Maricopa County for their services, such as law enforcement. When it came to community development, they worked with their Maricopa County's community development to help plan some of that, because it was all county at the time, right? And it's not going to be any different here. And so we've talked about how would we help give support if it does go through, because if it goes through, it'd be by the voice of the people. And we want to respect that, and so we want to make sure that it's successful. So we'll provide the services at a contractual rate. What that number looks like, that'll probably have to be negotiated between the new council and the budget that they have in Pinal County. If that's the way they want to go, they could go and probably contract with Queen Creek for police force if they wanted to. They could have a discussion with them. They could go to Apache Junction and have the same conversation and kind of size it up. Who would get best be able to provide the services at a reasonable rate? So, those kind of questions I can't really answer. That will be up to the new city council and the direction that they go. They'll be required to hire a city manager, and that city manager will have some experience in government, city government, and the structure of it, and he'll help them kind of figure out what they need to do and so on and so forth. Or she. I know a lot of women that are capable of doing the same thing, so